50 Little Known Facts About America. Part 2. Indiana has the highest concentration of interstate highways. Ready for a road trip? Indiana has more miles of interstate highway per square mile than any other state. In 1937, the state's General Assembly adopted the Crossroads of America as the state motto. While there isn't a consensus on why the slogan was chosen, some believe it's because Highways 40 and 41, which were designated as part of the original federal highway system, in 1926 and crossed in Terre Haute, made traveling and settling in the West easier. The U.S. Postal Service is the busiest mail delivery service in the world. Here's another fun fact about America. The U.S. Postal Service delivers more mail-in packages than any other postal service in the world. As old as the country itself, the USPS serves nearly 167 million addresses throughout the United States. The tallest mountain in the world from base to peak is in Hawaii. Technically, volcanic Mauna Kea on the Big Island of Hawaii is the tallest mountain in the world when factoring in its size above and below sea level. While only 4,205 feet of the mountain is visible above sea level, it measures approximately 33,500 feet from the seafloor. Coming in at 29,029 feet, Mount Everest in Nepal is the tallest mountain above sea level. 10 states' borders are farther south than part of Mexico. Pop geography quiz. Which states are farther south than Mexico? It's not a trick question. Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, Hawaii, and South Carolina all have borders farther south than the northernmost part of Mexico. This gives new meaning to the phrase south of the border. George Washington never ran for president. Unlike his successors, George Washington never actually campaigned to be president. He was simply chosen by the popular demand of the Electoral College. This happened for both his first and second terms in office, with the elections of 1789 and 1792. He was also the only president ever to unanimously receive all electoral votes. The CDC was founded to fight malaria. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention (CDC) was founded in Atlanta in 1946 as the Communicable Disease Center with just 400 employees. When it began, the CDC's primary mission was preventing malaria from spreading to other parts of the country. No longer endemic to the U.S., malaria was eradicated from the country in 1951. Americans have a shorter life expectancy than people from some other countries. Although life expectancy in the U.S. rebounded back to pre-pandemic levels by 2023, it's still lower than comparable countries like Australia, Austria, Belgium, Canada, France, Germany, Japan, the Netherlands, Sweden, Switzerland, and the United Kingdom. In 2023, life expectancy in the U.S. was 78.4, compared to 82.5 in the other countries. Half of all U.S. presidents came from four states. Here's some presidential trivia for you. Virginia, Ohio, New York, and Massachusetts are the home states of half of all U.S. presidents. 8 are from Virginia, 7 from Ohio, 5 from New York, and 4 from Massachusetts. Only 8 presidents were born west of the Mississippi, and only 21 states were the birthplace of a president. Of the 3,143 counties in the United States, 298 have the names of presidents. The top 5 presidents with matching county names are Washington 31, Jefferson 26, Jackson 24, Lincoln 24, and Madison 20. George Washington has the most places, including cities and towns, named after him in the country, 94. More Americans moved back to their home state during the pandemic. There's no place like home. Between 2019 and 2022, the percentage of return home movers, people who resided outside their state of birth the previous year and then returned, increased from 4.2% to 5.0%. Interestingly, the total number of Americans who moved in the same period declined. More than 2/3 of Americans have pets. As of 2023, more than 66% of Americans, or about 87 million homes, reported owning at least one pet. This is an increase of about 10% since 1988. Dogs are the most popular pets, followed by cats, then freshwater fish. Americans eat about 42 pounds of cheese per person per year. Is cheese one of America's favorite foods? Currently, each of us eats 42 pounds of cheese a year, more than double what it was when the government first started keeping track of this figure in 1975. In total, Americans now eat 653 pounds of dairy products per person per year. Got milk? Yes, we do. And yogurt. and cheese and butter and ice cream too. The first flight attendants were nurses. Check out this airplane trivia. In 1930, Ellen Church, a registered nurse with her pilot's license, approached Boeing with the hopes of becoming an airline pilot. At that time, the company hired only male pilots and male stewards, but she convinced them that female nurses, like herself, would be best suited for easing passengers' fears and making them feel comfortable while flying. The requirement lasted until World War II, when nurses were needed by the Army. Almost all U.S. presidents have been Christian. Presidents Joe Biden and John F. Kennedy were Catholic, and most of the other presidents have been Protestant, most commonly Episcopalian or Presbyterian. Thomas Jefferson and Abraham Lincoln had no formal religious affiliation, but there has never been a president with a stated religion other than some form of Christianity. St. Augustine, Florida, is the oldest city in the U.S. Founded in 1565 by the Spanish, St. Augustine is the oldest continuously occupied settlement of European origin in the United States. It was established 42 years before the English colonized Jamestown, and 55 years before the Pilgrims landed at Plymouth Rock. The city has the only urban center in the U.S. with a street pattern and architectural style that reflect its Spanish roots. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for new videos.